Alright, guys, good morning. I hope this is actually recording. I don't know why I had to hit the record button a few times here. My phone's been acting weird. Alright, well, back with another podcast episode. It's an early morning time, 6:48 a.m. Sunday morning, Veterans Weekend. I am so glad to have so many days off. I was off Friday. I'm always off Saturday, Sunday, and I'm off Monday too. So I hit the mark for my study goal for the end of last week / this week. That was a hard one. Friday was very forced. I'm realizing, at least I can listen to classes while, doing some exercise. So it was mostly, I was just doing like body weight exercises for the most part, just very slowly. Was doing yoga for like 30 minutes. So I broke up the yoga. Like half of it was, I used this massager. It's like this back massager. Just because I'm already old and sore. Just to kind of loosen up my muscles. I find that it does help with when I'm stretching before any kind of like warm up. What I prefer, honestly, like, is either like gym on the elliptical, the one with the handles that kind of like move with your legs. I prefer that, using some of the resistance for my hands and then some of the resistance for my legs. And just trying to, get my body kind of warmed up, like muscles moving and stuff, and then doing yoga after that. But I'm kind of realizing, like, I don't really know if that's been contributing to injuries or not. Like, it's not like I go to the gym on the elliptical all the time, but if I'm home, I prefer something like jumping jacks. If it's like low impact, I prefer something like mountain climbers. I mean, those can be a little loud too, but it's like, I just think about, if you happen to live upstairs, in an apartment or something where there's someone, a level below you, sometimes it's hard to be able to work out at home, it seems like, because, if you're doing high impact stuff and you're jumping around, or if you're like me and you kind of just like your space on things and you're not really like, like, I don't play my music loud. I'm not usually watching videos loud. Like, I kind of don't really need people knowing what I'm doing when and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't like talking on the phone around people. I'm just really like to myself. And so working out is one of those things where it's like, I might be working out, but I know it may sound stupid, but I kind of don't want other people maybe like knowing like, oh, you're like jumping all over the place. Like, on occasion I do, but I am kind of like, we have wood floors and it's a single level house, but there's a crawl space under the house, so it's kind of like, there are some areas of the house where it's like concrete underneath, but the area of the house where I'm usually at is like, it's hollow under the floor. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more echoey. But Yeah, I mean, Friday's workout was probably my best one of last week. This week, well, I skipped Saturday. I got a little walking in on Saturday only because I went to the movie theater and there were like a whole bunch of stairs. But I think outside of the stairs, I mean, I just walked from parking to the movie theater pretty much. I didn't really do a lot of exercise. But yeah, I did a lot of meditating yesterday. And I ended up kind of going to sleep really early. I think I was turning the lights out around 9:38 p.m. or something. It was like not even 9:45 yet, and I was already kind of dozing. So I was like, okay, let me get everything turned off, because sometimes I literally just knock out with everything just like still on. I'll have my glasses on and like YouTube is playing, and I'm just like, not even really actually ready for bed. Like the lights are on, everything's just like on. But I kind of wanted to wake up early today. And last night was, I tried to do one weekend night with some kind of, I don't want to call it like a psychedelic experience necessarily. Like that's not fully what it is. But some sort of, kind of like a deep insight type of meditative type of experience. I had an edible last night, about 5 milligrams. I don't remember what percentage. There was a percentage that was THC and a percentage that's CBN. And I have these CBD gummies that are 25 milligrams per gummy, and I think it's less than 0.3 milligrams per gummy. But if I have like 3 of them, then it's like already almost 1 milligram of THC, but 3 is gonna be like 75 milligrams of CBD. So definitely those things are helping me sleep. And I don't know if I mentioned, Friday when I was doing my longer workout, it was all body weight. It was all slow, because I was doing this for a long period of time. I had some C4. I'm pretty sure it was about at least 2/3 of a scoop, if not a whole scoop worth. I put them in water bottles. I scoop it into a water bottle. But sometimes I have, like yesterday or Friday, I had some left over, so I had it in the fridge in one of those just like water bottles, and I added to it. I added a half a scoop to it, because I was assuming there was a half a scoop in there, and I didn't drink the whole thing, but I drank quite a bit of it. I mean, there was a point where it kind of kicked in, like, but I wasn't really that wiry, and I was actually pretty surprised that Friday night I actually did sleep pretty deeply. I think I slept a little late, but it was still fine. And yeah, I went and saw Black Panther yesterday. I was definitely loving the native languages. That to me was pretty awesome. You don't see a lot of movies that aren't you don't see a lot of I guess, yeah, you don't really see a lot of movies that aren't like foreign films that have, subtitles sometimes. Like, not the whole movie subtitles, but usually it's like, okay, it's a foreign film. We're going to pick one language. And, it's usually like a documentary or like a movie that's in a full language. This movie, had a lot of different languages in it. So I know Kosa was in there. And there was some Spanish in there. Now, I was trying to see if the language they speak was actually like a Mayan dialect. That's what I wasn't too sure about. I was trying to look it up. That's why I'm kind of like talking so weird. I'm trying to like write it. I don't really know. I'm trying to see if the language was like real, because I don't really know. I don't really know what his name is. Okay, sorry. My goodness. Well, I can't really tell. Yeah. Okay, so it is Mayan. But I don't know if there's a name of it. Is what I'm trying to find out. Is there like a different name of, like, is the language called Mayan? That's what I was wanting to know. I'm trying to look that up. I don't know. I really don't know. It says online anyways, it says the Maya don't actually speak Mayan, rather they speak Tzotzil, Mam, Quiche, or any of the various languages in the Mayan language family. Okay, that's what I was wanting to know, is what language is it? I don't really know if it's called Mayan. Like, I mean, I just, it's almost, I don't know, whatever. Like, some languages, they're just not called, just after the people, like, completely like that. So I'm not familiar. I just know there are a lot of tribal languages that tend to have that, that they're not just called, like, straight up, like, whatever the name of the people are. And that's something I'm not too familiar with. But okay, I'm glad I kind of picked up on that. But yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the movie. I mean the story I liked, but I liked that they had the language, the different languages. That was pretty cool, especially to have it in like a Marvel movie, kind of like a sci-fi type movie. You don't tend to really see that too much. Like you don't tend to see like multicultural sci-fi type like topics, and like topics about like, it was kind of underlying like topics about like colonization and war and world superpower kind of exploitation of tribal people for resources. Is that what I mean to say? I mean, that's what it is. But I don't want to get all political about it, but that's kind of the story of a lot of the world's population of different tribes all over the world. That's a very common story. So it's interesting in Marvel. But anyways, I like the movie for those reasons. I mean, I just liked it completely, but I mean, there's a part of me that really gravitated towards that aspect of it, where I was like, oh, like wow, I didn't really expect that we were really going there. And then there's like, I don't know, I would just say, I mean, I'm not talking about this movie right now, but I'm just mostly trying to kind of work on my mindset about things, on my how I think things through, like the process, my decision making process. Like yesterday, I kind of did feel like I really needed a break. And even though I was like watching shows and just kind of like hanging out and stuff, just chilling at the house and eating and stuff, like I wasn't really feeling too like I guess it wasn't too fulfilling of a waste of time, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not like disappointed in it. It's just like I kind of felt like I wanted to like veg out, which I did do, but it was kind of like not like a fulfilling vegging out. Like, it was kind of like I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do anything too productive, but at the same time I wasn't like, super enjoying, if that makes sense. Like, I was just like, like, this is fine. Oh, excuse me. Well, you guys are getting the pre-coffee version. I'm waiting for my coffee to cool off, actually, so I can actually drink it. That's one thing I'm noticing. And all right. As far as food is concerned, meals, I'm about to go get what I was gonna eat. It wasn't really a big deal. Alright. So just this. Alright, I got an onigiri. All right. So I've got an onigiri rice ball. It's just a salmon one. I don't know if it's gonna be like raw salmon or cooked salmon. I've had it prepared both ways. But basically it's like sushi rice with dry seaweed. In like a triangle with like the filling kind of in the middle of the triangle. They sell them at the Japanese market, and yesterday I dropped by the Japanese market and got most of my food. So yesterday I was pretty decent on food. I did something a little weird yesterday. So before the movie, because the movie was at 10:55 a.m., I ate breakfast. I ate a little bit of oats, so like not a whole entire bowl, but like a little bit of oats, a cup of coffee. It was like coffee with ghee. I think I put a little bit of cacao and a little bit of creme brulee creamer. I don't really usually put creamer in my coffee, but I kind of did. And then I ate a little bit of I think I ate a small guava, and I put ghee butter in my coffee. And I just drank that, had that. I think I had like a bottle of water. While I was at the movie, I had quite a bit of popcorn. I don't know how much. A couple, like 2 gummy worms. I was like, because my friend offered, so I was like, I'll have a couple, but I don't want to have like a whole lot. Because I wasn't really trying to eat candy or popcorn, but I was like, we're at the movie theater. I'll have a little candy and popcorn. Originally, I probably wouldn't have. And then I got the beverages, so I got myself a vitamin water. I don't really like B12, but I was like, well, it's early, and I wasn't drinking the whole thing. And then, I just had like a sip. But I ended up having to go to the bathroom during the movie anyways, like, which annoys me, but it's like, sometimes I can't really time. Like, I notice, like, if I don't have any beverages for like 2 hours or so, then I'm usually good, because I know I do that when I drive between LA and San Diego. I won't have any beverages for like 2 hours, so that while I have like a 2-hour drive, I don't need the bathroom. But for me, that's a long time, going like 4 hours with no water. For me, that's pretty lengthy. I try not to really do that too much. And so today is a budget day for me too. I need to look at my bank. I look at it every day, but I need to actually sit down with my expenses. Sundays are the day that I figure out if I'm on track. Like, I do it more than once a week, but Sundays are the day when I try to at least financially plan what I'm going to be doing for the next week. Now, I know I get paid Friday. Other than food, I really don't have any other expenses unless I have to go down to work in person for some reason, unplanned this week, which I don't foresee, but it could happen at any time. I think my coffee's finally cooled off. So today my coffee is just black Folgers with it's like a pre-ground Folgers, like the ones in those red containers, and I just put it in one of those I don't know what the filter is called. It's one of those like metal reusable filters that you just wash, and you just pour hot water over it. So I've been using that filter. So usually what I do is I put a scoop of cacao in the bottom of the cup. I put the filter on top of the cup. It's got like a little platform to put the filter on top of, so it just stands up on there. I put the coffee scoops. I think I put 1.5 spoons of coffee And yeah, I think I put 1 spoon of, I guess it was teaspoon size of cacao, and I put the hot water on top of the coffee grounds. It's already pre-ground, and yeah, then I stirred together. Once it kind of drips down into the cup with the cacao, I just stir it all together. Now cacao does tend to settle, and so I know, like, if I don't stir this up, which I'm not gonna do right now, actually I might. If I don't stir it up, it's gonna pretty much be in the bottom of the cup. So yeah, I usually have extra spoons and things. So I'm just gonna stir this up real quick. And so I usually don't even have coffee this early. Like, usually it's like, it's like 7:14 a.m. So it's not too early, I guess. Because usually it's around 7:30 a.m. when I'm having coffee. I just wanted to wake up early and record a bit before I had some coffee. I did have CBD this morning as well, 25 milligrams of CBD. I feel cacao makes coffee for me, it makes it a little bit, it kind of takes the edge off of it, so it doesn't make me wiry. It's kind of like a calm, chill, kind of mental energy. That's kind of the vibe I go for more so. The CBD is probably going to get me in a very interesting headspace. For me, the combination, I mean, I don't do this in the mornings before work, but for me, this combination of CBD and coffee is very nice. I kind of like cacao and coffee in that same way. Like, cacao isn't the same as CBD. Cacao is, like, if I just drink cacao alone, just hot water over cacao powder, just plain cacao powder, like nothing else in there, no weird pre-made, not, and I'm not talking like cocoa, like hot cocoa, I mean cacao, like from the actual plant. It's pretty good. I find it to be, like, if I drink it before I'm trying to go to bed, I'll notice that I've got a little bit of an energy boost, but it's also kind of a calm energy. And with coffee, it's kind of the same way. It's like a calm energy. So that's kind of what I'm enjoying, this morning, is like, I want energy, but I don't want to be like wired, especially because I was up before 6 a.m. Like, I'm like easing into the day. Woke up, it was getting a little light out, but I was like, I want to see the sun come up, so I was like, I'm just gonna stay up, because the sunrise time today was 6:23 a.m. I like watching the sun come up. I like watching the sunset. I think I've explained before, I kind of have this, like, it's not really like a religious thing or really like too much of a super important ritual, but I kind of have this like reflective time period, like first thing when the sun comes up, first thing when the sun's setting, I try to reflect on my day, or even just like have the experience of just like the reflection period alone and trying to figure out kind of what the heck is going on. So yeah, I did that. I I did that to last night. So sunset in the evenings is just before 5 p.m. I don't know the exact time. It was probably like 4:52 p.m. or somewhere around there. I know that's about what it was on Friday. So Saturday it was about the same, maybe a minute here or there. But yeah, Sunday, that was the Saturday, that was the sundown time. And probably around 5:05, 5:08 p.m. I started just kind of like reflecting on the day and just, I mean, I definitely need to do this more than twice a day, because usually in the morning, but I do notice like when I am doing these reflection times, the morning ones are hard because like, I'm already, pretty depleted food wise, like, and energy wise, like waking up still kind of groggy maybe, just kind of like slowly, creeping into the morning, and my head's not fully ready yet to be doing too much. So I kind of notice that in the mornings it's kind of hard to be like reflective or even like visual about like I like visualization in the mornings too. That's kind of nice. It's kind of hard to do though, because my head is just all over the place. Like, it's hard for me to really slow down my brain. I wake up and my mind is just like racing. Like, literally, I wake up with my head just like full of just like every single possible thing, just racing around. But in the evenings, kind of different. I feel like I'll have something on my mind that it might be like hard for me to maybe stop thinking about, but I still have something on my mind. So it's kind of like in the evenings I'll get kind of warped into one thing, and in the mornings I'm kind of not really warped into one thing, but I'm kind of like all over the place. So those are not every single day, but those are different energies I notice. Now last night, the difference was, I took an edible. This was probably, I want to say it was around 6:45 p.m. because I was like, I want to ride this a bit. I don't want it to just knock me out, because I'm not doing this as routinely as I used to. I've definitely started slowing down on the edibles. I was like, if I'm having a week where I want to do something midweek, like Wednesday, if I want to, because I kind of got into this. It's not a real huge deal, but like, I noticed it kind of worked for me when I was, I used to hang out with close friends on Wednesdays, because we just happened to have a schedule that worked so that we could all kind of hang out on Wednesdays after work or school or whatever. And so, usually what we would do is go out for drinks and dinner or something like that, maybe karaoke, something like that. But it was like kind of the way you'd almost treat like a Friday night, just not as late, but I could get in at like midnight and still be fine. I could technically go to bed at like 2, because I didn't have to be up till maybe like 10, because I didn't work till noon. And so it was like Thursdays I could ease into the day because I worked noon till 8 p.m. So, I kind of did get into that habit during that time of a Wednesday night, kind of like just let loose kind of Wednesday night, or just like a midweek, like solid break, and I kind of do still kind of do that. I used to joke and say like, we used to say whiskey Wednesdays, and then I used to joke and start saying weed Wednesdays. But I did kind of take that on as like a day that's like, okay, it's like midweek. So usually what I'll do, if I can, is I'll make my Thursday either a half day or full day of like paperwork, catching up, stuff like that. So I'm not doing a lot of like direct client work. So that Wednesdays, I mean, I'm not saying so I can like get high on Wednesdays. That's not really what I'm trying to say. It's just, so that I can know that Wednesday, if I kind of do take a type of a break after work, then the next day, isn't going to be an intense day. I try to keep my Thursdays kind of a little more open as far as how my energy is going to be. And usually Wednesdays, I notice, are my, I have the least ideal energy on Wednesdays, I notice. Now, I don't work Mondays anymore, at my job, at my, day job, but I do like Mondays. The reason why I usually like Mondays is just because of how my energy shifts. So Mondays, yeah, maybe it's hard to get off of a weekend and be like, I don't want to like start doing serious stuff. I'd rather just play around. But Mondays for me, I feel like I'm usually the most rested by Monday. Usually I just got off from a good weekend. Like my weekends tend to be pretty good. I try to make sure of that. Like my weekends tend to be very pumped full of at least like self-care type of options for myself. So I don't really know. Like I don't really know if I'm like I don't really know if I'm what am I trying to say here, guys? Like I'm just I guess not too sure if like what I really think. Like yeah, it's kind of hard to really tell, honestly. But yeah, Mondays I feel like my energy is usually, when I was working on site, Mondays my energy was good. Tuesdays it was kind of usually like take it or leave it. We're in the week now. We still got multiple days, like whatever. But now that Tuesdays are like a Monday for me, like Mondays I feel like I don't want to waste a Monday because I'm losing money because I'm not working at my day job. Now it's not that I don't get paid in other ways, but I just don't, like I don't have it on like a strategy or like a plan where I'm like, okay, like if I'm doing something else, like if I have another source of income, I'm getting paid out so that it's on a Monday or something like that. Like it's not really, like I do make a little extra side hustle money, not a lot right now. I've got some stuff in the works, and I'm trying not to take on way too much because, oh my gosh, I'm already taking on a lot. So yeah, so now with the 32-hour work week, Tuesday through Friday, studying Mondays. Monday's a big study day for me. And I would say yeah, Wednesdays would probably be that day then. That's kind of the best day for me, like midweek. And then Thursday for me is usually like Friday Eve, not a lot happening on my calendar. Like, of course I'm working, I'm doing what I need to do, but it's like I'm editing, I'm trying to get the paperwork stuff done, I'm researching stuff. Now if I'm behind on client contacts, I'll definitely spend my morning or afternoon. I'll pick one and I'll do client contacts. But usually it's like I do need a day for paperwork, and so like it's hard for me to split up tasks. Like I have a hard time doing I tend to do tasks in bulk. So for example, if I'm making phone calls, I'll make all my phone calls in bulk. Like if I'm calling transportation, I'll do all that at once. Even if I have to call back multiple times, I'll do all the transportation calls. If I'm calling, if I'm texting clients, I'll do all the text messages. If I'm emailing providers, I'll do all the emails at once. Like I usually try to keep it like that, so it's not like send an email, text a client, take a call, here's a session, here's a meeting, like for me that's like way too much switching back and forth because there's so many different types of tasks. I have to group them. And so when it comes to paperwork and stuff, there's a lot of tasks that come with paperwork attached to the task. And so it's like, it's hard for me to do those types of tasks in the middle of the day. So I tend to take those paperwork type of task things I have to do and just put them all to Thursday, whether it's edits or uploading faxes or mail or all that kind of stuff. I just do it all one day of the week. And what I don't finish Thursday, I try to finish at the second half of Friday so that Fridays aren't like too bombarded at the end of my day. And then Friday mornings, I try to just really power through what I didn't get done during the week. Tuesdays are a day that I start strong too. I usually have a really strong Tuesday and usually a really strong Wednesday. So I'm usually having like 2.5 days, if not 3 days, that are just like super strong out of the 4 days that I'm working, with one for paperwork. And so, yeah, I'm not really too disappointed with that. Like I always have higher productivity than I need, and I always finish things. Usually I finish the bare minimum amount of work within each week that I'm supposed to. So, and usually before the end of the month, I've hit my monthly goals. Now I have had some slow months, but it was more like, a focus thing. It wasn't so much anything else. But yeah, I mean, and yeah, working out, I'm just trying not to get injured. I mean, this weekend I was supposed to go snowboarding, and, I was thinking yesterday after, the movie, I was going to drive up to the mountains. So this morning would have actually been my first day of the season snowboarding. Today would have been. I wouldn't even have been starting yet. And so, I mean, and I'm already kind of like Friday was a good workout. Yesterday I felt a little like maybe I should take it easy. Today should be a good workout day. Yeah, but I'm kind of trying to plan out my day. So, I think Sunday should be my food review day. So I think I mentioned, like, in addition to my, financial budgeting, but I think I mentioned that I started taking photos of my food. I think that's what I mentioned. I don't know what I mentioned, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna have to get through this coffee because it's gonna get cold now. Sorry. I didn't drink a whole lot of it yet. I'm kind of swirling it around so the cacao isn't fully settled. Oh gosh. That was powdery. Um I try not to leave too much of the cacao because I feel like I'm wasting it, you know? Like once it's at that like sludgy point, I feel like I'm kind of wasting it. Dude, I kind of want to go to the beach this morning, but it's like cold. But I do kind of want to go. It's like, man, because I wake up so early. I could technically go to the beach this morning. Like, I don't know. I'm sitting on that. I feel like I could totally go to the beach this morning. Yeah, Mondays, the weird part is that, like, the school nearest our house starts at 8 a.m. and I'm not working. And so it's kind of interesting to see all the kids and stuff, trying to get rides to school, or all the parents dropping them off and all that kind of stuff. But then it's like there's so much traffic. So usually around 7:30 a.m., maybe closer to 7:40 a.m., I don't really leave the street in the morning before work. And I was kind of thinking about that because I was like, well, I could go to the beach before work, but I'd basically have to get back to the house by probably like 7:15 or something. But I'm awake, I'm just trying to think, it might make more sense for me to start like capitalizing on my early morning schedule. That's kind of why I was like, well, the easiest thing I can do is just start podcasting. But this is messy. I can tell, like, I'm not like really focused in a linear way. I was gonna meditate this morning. I actually kind of started to, and I was like, I couldn't. My mind was just racing so much. I mean, it's not that I can't meditate when my mind is racing. I know that, when I do meditate, it slows that down too. But I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe I was a little restless. Like, I didn't really want to. I kind of actually thought, that's why I took the CBD this morning. I kind of actually thought I might go back to sleep. And then I thought about it more, and I was like, I don't really want to sleep all morning. It's nice weather. It's cold, but it's nice. It's sunny. So let me look through this past week, see what I've eaten. I don't think I have every meal on here. Let me see. So there was a day. What day was the 5th? Sorry, am I going to go Sunday to Sunday? So let's go Saturday, because that's the picture I was in. Looks like Saturday, last week on the 5th, I remember my mom made some sausages, but I didn't eat those. It looks like I had about 3 or 4 little potatoes, with maybe about a half an avocado, 2 boiled eggs, a small bowl of strawberries. I don't know if this is juice or coffee in the cup, or tea, something. It might have been juice. I can't remember that day. It looks like that same day I had some asparagus with cooked salmon and mashed potatoes. I don't see another meal on here. Oh yeah, so that was lunch, and then dinner was we had a huge dinner. So it had Wagyu burgers for dinner. I don't think I had fries with it. I guess okay. So Monday, I have a picture. I kind of eat the same thing most days. It was 2 eggs, a half an avocado, and two um, veggie bacon pieces. I eat that most mornings with coffee. Sometimes I add strawberries on the side or whatever. It looks like I had Jersey Mike's on Monday as well. So Monday must have been the day that I didn't eat a lot of lunch. Or maybe that was my lunch. What time was that? Yeah, that was a late lunch Monday. So I feel like I didn't eat maybe a heavy dinner that night. Tuesday I had the same breakfast pretty much. With some strawberries. And for lunch I had some leftover pasta with some chicken, added tomato, and had a little Caesar salad on the side with romaine lettuce. I don't know what I ate the other days. I had some pig out days this week, man. I think Wednesday night was the night. Was it Wednesday or Tuesday that I ate a Big Mac? Or no, it was a quarter pounder. Looks like I had I had a half a slice of pizza and a sub from one of the Italian places nearby. One of my other meals was a whole. Friday I ate a gigantic omelet with it was stuffed with grilled veggies. Like, it had all kinds of grilled veggies. It had carrots, zucchini, onions. Yeah, it had like a lot of like tomatoes. Like, it had a lot of actual like vegetables. So it looks like that's the type of stuff I was eating. Friday night we had some fish with mashed potatoes, some spinach, some little small sausages. I feel like there were some days where I just ate a lot of food. And yesterday I had a gigantic bento box. It wasn't that big, but like the rice portion was big, and it had some sushi. Yeah, and then like a 2-hour workout on the 11th. I mean, it says calories burned. It says 380. I mean, with the what do you call that thing? Because it tracks your heart rate. With that heart rate tracking, I feel like I don't know if it's like how accurate it is with the heart rate tracking, because I basically, like, my heart rate's usually up because the C4 makes my heart rate kind of go up. But I was surprised that I actually slept really well. So that to me kind of shows that, the workout must have been successful. I had some things that I screenshot things on when I'm online. A lot of them's from Jamie Messina or AD Diggs. I think AD_Diggs. From Vibe Source, VYBESOURS. Sorry, SOURCE. I'm still a little tired, guys. Um, so there was something, I'm just going to read some of the things that were quotes that I liked. See, I'm taking advantage of this, screen capture and, phone pictures and stuff. Because it's like, I don't really go through my pictures, but it's kind of a nice, interesting way to reflect on the week. Like, I'm not being too, like, overly, like, oh, I gotta take a picture of every meal and, like, I gotta, like, take a picture of everything that I see that's interesting. But it is kind of nice to go back through, like, pictures and photos and little video clips of what I thought was fun during that week. Because it's like, usually it's like I'll take pictures of stuff and then, like, maybe never look at it again. But it is kind of a nice little recap. So for the November 11th, 2022, please give yourself credit for how far you have come. Stop getting caught up in focusing on your problems or what you don't have. Give thanks for the growth you have achieved so far and fully surrender to the inner work. The more you invest in your inner world, the more your other world transforms. You have overcome so many challenges. You didn't avoid the work it took to become your best self. Have patience. Big shifts are on the way. That was one from Friday. I don't know what this is from. I don't think I so it's at King of Solomon. I don't think I read this yet. I just took a picture of it, but this was also something from Friday evening that I came across. The title is Confessions to Start Your Day. Today is a gift, and I will not take it for granted. I am loved and worthy of love. I will leave everyone I come in contact with better than I found them. No matter what happens today, I will walk by faith. My faith will outwork my doubt. I have feelings, but they do not have me. I forgive those who have hurt me. When people see me today, they will see God shining through me. God supplies all of my needs, and I will use what He gives me to build the vision placed in my heart. I will not allow fear, anxiety, and worry to consume me. No matter what happens, God can work everything out for my good and His glory. So this one, at King of Solomon, that sounds like maybe if somebody's kind of more religious or spiritually kind of having a belief in God, and some of these are very biblical sayings, like God will supply all my needs, and talking about faith and doubt and worry and anxiety and fear, just how those kind of things can be consuming. The negative things can be consuming, but I think it goes both ways. Like, the positive things can be consuming too, but it's like, I feel like there's definitely going to be a different emotional attachment to those, right? Like when a positive thing is consuming, it's like, oh, I had a good day today. Like, you don't really tend to go back and just, like, have that, going on in the mind for, like, so long. And another vibe source from yesterday, November 12th, 2022. You raised your internal frequency, and now blessings are flooding into your life. All outer change begins with inner shifts. You became committed to inner growth, and it's paying off mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Continue on your journey in full faith that everything will work out for your benefit. Every ounce of inner work you put forth will unlock doors that are currently unseen. you are becoming your highest self. So that one, I like that type of thing. Like it is kind of hard to kind of see things very clearly sometimes. I notice, like sometimes I notice, like, definitely it's easy to not focus on the slow progress that happens. Like, it's easy to be like frustrated with stuff not working out immediately. But like, I think anyone who's done almost anything that took a length of time, I mean, school, for example. I mean, most of us went to school for a very long time. Even if you think youth, even if you think the amount of years you're in school up until you get to high school, from like age 5 or so years old up until maybe 18, almost, like, pretty much your whole, from the time that you're no longer a baby all the way till when you're considered an adult, you're in school. If you think about that, that's just to graduate high school. Like, I think, don't you graduate at 18, 17? I don't know what age you are when you graduate. I think when I graduated, I was 18, I think. Because I think I'm a year older than most people who graduate. And I know, or maybe I was 17, and I think maybe I turned 18 that summer. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, guys. But, I could do the math, but yeah, like, I do find it very interesting that you're in school your whole life. Like, you're literally in school your whole life, of your youth, unless you have some other route that your family put you on. But yeah, pretty much up until you're just about 18, you're in school, and then by that time you're considered an adult and able to make your own decisions. Not everybody goes to college, but if you do go to college, that's at least 2 more, if not 4 more years, into your 20s now. And that's just to get like a bachelor's. At the least, it's going to be on average like 4 years. And so that's another 4 years. And then you add that amount of time, I mean, like, you're like, what, like 22 or something when you graduate from college. If you just went straight through kindergarten through college, you're about 22 years old when you graduate. And so you definitely know how to do school pretty well by that point. But it's like, when you think of it, it's like, that's a really long time. And I feel like most of us don't think of how long we were in school for. You think about other things, like if you were doing like a higher degree, or, the career path and things like that. I think once we get older, we start thinking about that stuff more. I don't remember ever thinking about how long it was taking in school when I was younger. I was just like, this is just what I do every day. And, I always remember having trouble waking up, and I always remember having trouble sleeping. Like, it wasn't necessarily because of anxiety related to school necessarily, but like, I definitely always had trouble sleeping. But, and I think I'm only like just now, like in my 30s, trying, like, actually figuring out things that kind of work a little bit better for me. But I grew up athletic and everything too. And so when I think about school, that's something that takes forever, right? You wouldn't assume like, why is this taking so long? I'm not a senior in high school yet. It's like, yeah, you're like 12 years old. You know what I mean? It's like, that takes years, like years, decades out of your life. School does. And then, like I was mentioning, if you grew up athletic, or if you ever had a time period in your life when you're athletic, we all know, from when you start doing something that you weren't doing athletic wise, day one is not going to be that easy. The end of week 1 is usually easier than day 1. The end of week 2 is usually way easier than the beginning of day 1. Usually by week 4, you're pretty solid if you've been consistent for like 4 weeks. I don't mean even like every single day, but it's the same with an instrument. The first time you pick up a new instrument, or even pick up an instrument that you haven't played in a while, it's a little slow going that first day. Almost everything, right? Like there's almost any type of new habit, any type of new anything seems to always have like, a learning process at the beginning, and it's a little slow going. And that can really kind of set the tone for like sticking with something. But it's not always smooth. It's not always easy. It's not always fast. But I feel like when it comes to like personal development types of things, it always feels like, I don't know why. Maybe I'm the only one who feels this way, but it's like, okay, I meditated, it didn't work all right, like, or like, okay, I did this, and like, I wasn't as focused as I wanted, or like, okay, I did that, and like, it's a little easier to just like skip, on certain things, I've noticed, like, versus like, work, you're gonna have to wake up and go do it anyways, it doesn't matter if it's a new job, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad at it, you're gonna still have to go do it, because you gotta pay for your stuff. School, you have to get up and go. By law, you have to go to school, a certain amount of times to still be in good standing and to be able to graduate. And like, college is a little more flexible, but it's like, you still got to go to class. You still have to like do the assignments and stuff. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I'm thinking out loud. I'm not trying to like teach people something. Like I'm talking to myself. Like basically it's like the way I see things, usually I notice when it comes to like personal development type of stuff, I can be very impatient. I'm not seeing results right away, so I'm just going to go back to these other habits that weren't even working in the first place that I'm complaining about already. It's like, well, I'm complaining about getting sore all the time and, getting injuries all the time and all this other stuff, but then I'm not, at a certain point, I wasn't consistently working out. So it's like, well, what do I think my body's going to be doing? Of course, I'm going to be all like sore from sitting in a chair working all day. It's not even like like it is an office type chair, but like, sometimes when I'm sitting, like I get this lower back pain that I never had. Like I'm experiencing a lot of firsts since 2020, because my lifestyle significantly changed, and especially starting to work remotely, a lot has changed in my life working remotely. Oh my gosh. Like, working remotely for me has really put things to the test for me. But one thing I'm definitely learning is that a sedentary lifestyle for me really does something to my mind, not in a good way. But I don't think I've been this, I don't want to call it lazy, because it's not fully lazy, but I don't know, this inactive, like I've never sat in a chair until I've experienced pain, like that's never happened up until when I started working from home. I've never stood up from a chair and felt like, oh my gosh, like this is some pretty intense pain. I've never, like last season when I was snowboarding, I've never been so injured from non-falling, and while I knew I was taking it easy, like I've never been so, like when I go snowboarding now, or when I even go to a hotel, I carry this back massager thing. It's like this little pillow that has these back massager things in it, and you can just plug it into a wall, or it has like a car adapter plug too, and you can plug it in and it just has different settings that you can choose. And like, I either have to travel with that or a foam roller because I get back pain. I mean, that is like the weirdest thing. Like, I've never had that experience in my life. That laying in a different bed or while doing like active things like snowboarding, I'm gonna need something for my back pain. Like, that just floors me. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm just like, how did this start happening? Like, I mean, I'm not like 16 years old, I know that, but it's like, for a person who was like, I've mentioned before, I grew up playing sports. I grew up active. Like, I wasn't like an athlete like that, but it was just like a part of my life was just being active. Like, it wasn't, I just naturally was. Like, all my friends, most of my friends, depending which crew I was hanging around, were. And so when it was lunchtime, when it was recess, when it was before school, when it was after school, when it was during PE, when it was on the weekends, we were active. Like, it was what we did for fun, because a lot of my friends were not allowed to do other stuff. Like, we couldn't go to movies with certain people because they weren't allowed to go to movies. We weren't allowed to do like anything. We weren't really allowed to go watch TV at people's houses or MTV or movies or anything like that. So it was like, well, if you can't play cards and you're too young to drink and you can't go to bars or clubs or concerts or anything, like, what else are you going to do? All we did was like music and sports. Like, that was the only thing we were allowed to do. It's like, we couldn't really do anything else if I was hanging out with those specific people. So there were people that I would hang out with that, we'd have to go to like the local school or parks and just like play basketball if we were going to hang out, or go to the beach or whatever. Like, it's just what we did. And there was a sports league too that I was involved in. And, I grew up with a brother who's a similar age to me. And, we would have friends over, and most of our friends, shared friends, tended to be guys. And so we would just play sports. Like, that's what we did. Like, and it was also a generational thing. Like, that's just kind of like, we didn't have internet either. So it's like, if you like, what are you going to be doing in the house all day? And you're in Southern California where it's not bad weather. It's like, you can play sports almost every day of the freaking week. Like, nobody cared. Like, but I remember just kind of just naturally being raised like that. And now it's like, it's not that I'm not active. It's just that I have like seasonal sports. So the only real seasonal sport I have is snowboarding, and I can't go every day. I can't even go every week. I can maybe pull every third week. That's maybe every third week, maybe every other week. Maybe, and that's like maybe. And especially now that I'm not working Mondays, that's going to be way more possible. But this is maybe. So I don't really know. For sure, what, like, I'm trying to be not hard on myself over things, but it's like, I did go through a couple years during the Rona where it was like, I'm not really active, but 2020 wasn't that bad. Like, I can gauge it by my snowboarding that 2020 wasn't that bad. I mean, I was able to snowboard Taos, New Mexico, and that alone, like, I mean, I don't even know how I did that, honestly. Like, looking back, I'm like, I don't even know how I did that. Like, that was intense. But physically, I was able to hold up for 2 consecutive days. And to be able to do that for 2 days, like, I can't even imagine that now. The altitude, the distance, yeah, definitely the altitude and the distance. Oh my gosh, the sun, the fact that we were like partying and drinking and all that kind of stuff, like, and just being in a house full of people, the new environment, and just all that kind of stuff. Like, but that to me was very, um, it was just a lot, to me that was very, um, it was just kind of, I was able to do that then. So it seems to me that 2021 was the year that everything was way out of whack. But also, I mean, to be fair, 2021 was it was a big mental health flop kind of year for me. I had a lot going on. There was somebody that I was, I mean, we had been going out before, like just before COVID. Because I remember that they were asking me like, what are my thoughts on COVID? And I didn't really know anything at that point. And this person was really into like politics and like advocating for human rights. Like actively they did this like for fun. And so I was really like, I kind of felt it was a challenge to like things didn't not work out because of the political stuff. Like that wasn't really an issue. It was more so just the Rona in general, like a lot of the work setting environment changing for this person became like really toxic, and then they couldn't keep their job and had to like move to the East Coast, and so that just wasn't gonna work. And so unfortunately that didn't work out, and that was kind of like during kind of the start of 2021. So that's kind of how I started out that year. And then like, yeah, like mid-year, yeah, that's kind of how that year started. But I think a lot of that, like, I don't think it was really like I wouldn't say I wasn't upset by that, but it wasn't, like, it was kind of understandable. It was like, well, we're not, like, breaking this off because of one of us. It wasn't really that. So it was kind of, like, not, in a way, it was, like, less disappointing because it wasn't, like, one of those things. And it wasn't, like, a whole, like, well, we'll never see each other kind of thing. Like, it was pretty open-ended. It's just kind of like, well, neither one of us wants to do long distance. That's kind of all it really was. But, I mean, like, it just kind of sucked because it was pretty, like, we had a pretty good connection, I would say. It wasn't forced. Like, it was, like, I don't really meet that many people that it's just like, okay, like, I like dating this person and this is great, like I do meet people like that, but like that was probably one of the last people that I probably met before the pandemic and before everything shut down, and then having to go into like a shutdown, like when I was basically like that time in my life, like 2020 and before, like I was not really solidly trying to like be in relationships, dating people and stuff like that. And so, coming out of that lifestyle and then coming out of like the whole, like all I was doing was like working and partying for like a couple years, to just having a life where I was just like stuck in a house with a bunch of people I didn't want to live with, that, and started working from home. Like all of it combined was just like, whoa, like this is a lot all at once. And so that definitely was reflected in my, in the way that I was kind of not balancing my life out very good. There really wasn't a lot of balance, but, it was just kind of interesting how that worked for me. that I wasn't really balanced in my life too good back then. I almost find it funny in a way when I look back. It's almost kind of funny in a strange way because it's like, okay, it's like, okay, like that's just, I didn't see any of that coming. But looking back, I definitely know how I kind of let things get too far. Like I really didn't take advantage of of the outdoor space when I was in San Diego during that year because there were so many people in it. To me, it became less appealing. Like going to the beach was less appealing. At a certain point, you couldn't even sit there. But going to the beach was less appealing because, there were so many people at the beach all the time. And the parks were crowded. Like everything got crowded outdoor space wise because everybody was getting out. There was a certain point where hiking trails were closed. And then when they opened, it was like the whole city started hiking, and it was just a little for me it was a little not ideal. Like I live in a city, there's people everywhere. You can't even really just like go outside and like sit on your front step or on your lawn, and there's people walking past your house, there's neighbors across the street. Like as much as I love the city, I also like my space, and I don't really like being like around people when I'm outdoors, like trying to be in nature, if that makes sense. Like I prefer to be kind of alone. I don't want to be like hiking with like, you know, 50 people behind me and 50 people in front of me. Like I want to be in my own headspace and just like thinking and like, just unwinding. I don't want to be like overhearing people's conversations. They're like walking behind me and they're talking about how they're gonna lose their house, and some other people in front of me are talking about, they're walking with their baby in a what do you call those harness things, and they're walking with their baby. One of them has their baby kind of like, in one of those baby backpacks kind of things like on them, and they're talking about like child rearing with the people in front of them, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, it's like sometimes it's like that's not really what I wanted to do while I'm like climbing this hill. Like I'm not trying to like think about everybody's issues. Like let's leave that alone. And it doesn't happen a lot, but it's like it does happen a lot actually when you're around like crowds. And yeah, you can use earplugs, earphones, whatever. But sometimes I do like to just hike with no earplugs in, with no earbuds, no music, and just listen to the sounds around me, like the animals and birds, mostly birds. We don't really get a whole lot of other animals making noises in the middle of the day like that, but the water, the birds, the sound of walking and things like that. Like I'd rather listen to that than other people. But yeah, I think, yeah, when it came to, once I started snowboarding in 2021 season, that's what kind of tipped me off, where I was like, oh shoot, I'm not in that good a shape. I'm not in as good a shape as I was last winter, or even it was April of 2020 when I went to Taos, New Mexico. So that is just until not even, this was even before April of 2021 that I was having these issues. So, yeah, there was that. And then just, I wasn't eating healthy either, because I didn't want to, it was just one more thing to be like cooking in the same house as these people. Like I would not wish that on anybody, living in a house full of people while you're locked down with people with all these kind of issues. It was a mess. I'm not the only one who had issues with people I lived with. I know that. And I know that I consider myself even lucky. Like, I mean, I have clients that, if you think about it, it's like a lot of them, have very toxic family environments, a lot of trauma from, you know, I call it the trauma of poverty. If I want to, I don't know, maybe that's kind of like generalizing. Like, I'm not saying people aren't responsible for their own ways that they treat others. They definitely are responsible. But, I'm not saying that people who have money aren't touched by trauma and abuse, but I have definitely noticed that sometimes people can't keep their kids in safer options and make sure that they're protected from vulnerability issues like malnourishment and or having like undiagnosed like problems, or being around people just exposed to different environments like that. Like I think that definitely contributes. And then to put a pandemic on top of it where people were having to like move back in with those people or stay in the house with them because there aren't even mental health facilities where people could get into physically to go to. It was just too many people around too many situations for too long. But yeah, it definitely impacted me. And I didn't really think of it like, I'm thinking of it more now, but I'm like, I just thought like, okay, it's age, okay, it's, I don't know, I just was blaming so many other things. I mean, my hair went gray pretty much, like, I, definitely gained weight. Gaining weight to me isn't, like, the issue, like, not necessarily, like, weighing more, like, being a heavier weight. To me, that's not an issue, because I gained muscle pretty quickly, but I wear the same clothes. Like, I don't really shop that. Well, I started shopping a little more, but I don't shop that much. And when I was working from home, one thing is I wasn't putting on clothes that were more fitted. I wasn't putting on fitted jeans. I wasn't doing any of that. I was putting on, I was wearing like shorts, sweats, like gym shorts and like t-shirts, like baggier t-shirts and stuff. Like the clothes I wore were like loose, like really loose fitting. So I think I wasn't noticing the weight that I was gaining because I was wearing all this like elastic stretch band kind of stuff. But I did go out on occasions and I would kind of notice, I was like, this fits a little snug. But sometimes I'm like, it's because I just took it out of the dryer. Clothes are always a little tighter the first day out of the dryer. Like, it's a little, it's just a little tight because of the dryer. Like, everything's getting a little tight because of this dryer, right? And yeah, it is true, but I mean, that's not fully true. Like, there were shorts that I have, like, they're like these Quicksilver shorts that I have. They're like a board short, like a type of cargo board short. And I usually wear a belt with those. Like, when I first got them, I wore a belt. And I don't know, I think I have like 2 or 3 pairs of zipper fly pants where the top button is off. And I'm like, maybe it's because they're old. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's what it is. I think I'm kind of straining the top button. It's like, I'm like, oh no. And then, of course, because I wasn't going out all the time too, like I wasn't taking selfies with people, nothing like that. So it's like, and I don't really take selfies of myself. And so I was like, okay, I didn't really notice. I think the time when it hit me that I was gaining any weight it was an underwear thing, because, like I mentioned, I don't buy a lot of clothes, underwear included. Like, I do buy a lot of socks and underwear more than other stuff, but the underwear is still kind of like the same ones. Of course, I just throw them in the laundry, But I remember once like sitting down and I felt kind of like the waistband kind of like this is a little like close to like some crack area. I was like, these underwear were usually up like a little higher, and I was like, that's when it hit me. I was like, I'm probably gaining some weight, because I started noticing some of them, like the tighter fitting ones with the, I don't know how to describe underwear. Like how do you describe them? Like most of the cut of most of the underwear I wear are like boy short cut, if that makes sense. They're not like the bikini cut or the high waist or low waist or whatever the heck. Like they don't usually have like a low waistband. They're not usually like uh they're like they're like tiny shorts. That's basically what they look like. And so it's like, that part that goes like on the thigh, like of your leg, like it would start feeling kind of like tight. And I was like, how do my underwear not fit? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like and I'm like I guess I was in denial. I think I was in denial because it's not a familiar thing to me to just be like actively gaining weight. And also like the edibles, I was having a very sedentary lifestyle, and then the edibles were, giving me the munchies, and I was just snacking and eating so much, and like, I was having more edibles than usual and smoking pot a lot more because I was just in a house with people that I was like, look, I need to be as chill as is humanly possible in this house because everybody else is yelling and screaming at each other, and I'm not trying to yell and scream at anybody. I'm just trying to chill. And that stuff, it kept me chilled out at least enough that I wasn't like fighting with everybody, but I was just like, that was really just the way that I had to kind of deal with it. And so all the things combined, like when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, the weed use was probably pretty heavy. It wasn't necessary, but it made me eat a lot. And that wasn't good. And then whenever I did exercise, like I did notice it being so like laborious, like it wasn't even fun. And then I'd be all like sore and hurting. Like I don't mind when it's muscle soreness, you know what I mean? When it's like you did too many curls and the next day your biceps are sore or whatever. Like that's normal to me. Like it wasn't the muscle soreness, it was more like the joint pain and like nerves and like stretched pulled muscles and like all that. Like I'm not used to that. I got some issues with my shoulder blades. Like I was trying to go into rock climbing more, but it's like my shoulders have not fully recovered yet. And I'm noticing too on my right kind of shoulder getting a little pain when I'm using the mouse. So it might just be like the desk positioning or what. I don't really know. Like it's annoying. I'm annoyed by the amount of injuries I've been getting in the last couple years. It's just obnoxious to me. But yeah, definitely it's taken a lot for me to kind of realize that, I kind of went off like onto some other end of things where that just was not working good for me. So, yeah, I definitely need to make sure that I'm, just getting into things kind of in a way that's just helping myself. Like I don't want to be getting too far away from anything active. But yeah, I've definitely developed a pretty sedentary lifestyle, which is a little surprising to me. Like I never predicted that, I wouldn't be like playing sports and stuff. But yeah, I mean there were some times where I was able to kind of like play sports with friends and stuff and like all that kind of stuff, but I don't have I mean, I have friends that are pretty active, but I feel like all of us have like solo active sports. Like a lot of us hike, hiking, running at the beach. Have a friend who's really good with tennis. Another friend who plays, or at least used to play basketball pretty regularly. Um, we kind of, you know, we kind of, we kind of do that, and just like play sports and stuff. Um, but only if somebody's really kind of like on it. That's what I like about like, rock gyms and snowboarding and stuff like that, is you can just kind of do it on your own. But I don't know. For me, the rock gyms with the height, it still gets to me because my arms are still kind of weak. Yeah, my shoulders are really weak. I don't know what the heck that's all about, but it's just confusing. I'm aging, guys. I'm aging and I don't understand. But it's definitely a noticeable difference for me. Like, I thought it was bad in grad school that I wasn't really like working out. This is even worse. So, I mean, I've definitely started working out. Like, getting COVID during summer didn't help, but I definitely started working out in September. That's when I was like, I need to start training for snowboarding, but I did get injuries. I kept getting injuries. And so now that I think I figured out the injury issues, then, I'm going to be able to, just keep doing my regular exercising. I'm just going to keep on with the slow form kind of workouts. That kind of suits me, in my opinion. There was a day last weekend that I did like a fast day, like fasting, not fully fasting. Like I did eat, but I didn't I didn't eat every meal. Like, I'm not trying to starve myself, but I do believe that occasional fasting is good for you. I don't know if I'll do it every week. It's not for a weight thing, because when I fast, I just overeat. But it's more for like a mental clarity thing, because I think I have mentioned before that I do notice in the morning that if I just only have water or something, or if I just have coffee, my mind is a lot more clear for a while. Today is not a good representation of that, because I did have some THC last night, and then I did wake up this morning and have CBD. So it's, and I just started my morning by like recording on a podcast before I was like fully, like, my brain is not fully here yet, but it's kind of like a reflective day. I feel like, I woke up in the morning having a reflective day in the first place. And so today I'm debating if I'm going to stay home and work out, or if I'm going to go to the gym and work out, listen to my lectures while I'm at the gym, get in that workout, low, slow workout, have some C4, and I'll probably do that after lunch so that I can get out a little bit. And then I'm out of protein shakes, and so I'm out of the powder to make the shakes, and so I might stop by and get the shakes. So there's the gym that has the sauna, but the bikes aren't the bikes I like. I like the ones with the forward-facing pedals. Or at least the ones with the wide seat. Because I feel like, my hips are a bit wide. It's hard for me to sit on those, those bikes with a little small seat. That's hard for me. But yeah, like, I'm definitely working out more. I've been working out not every day, but at least a couple times during my work shift, working out. Like I said, not every day, but a couple times during my shift. During my shifts during the week, during my 30-minute lunch break, trying to get in 30 minutes at least. But some days it just doesn't work. Like Thursday, it didn't work out. I had too many appointments that time of day. Or no, I had a bunch of tech glitches Thursday. Or was that Friday? I can't remember. No, it was Friday. No, it was Thursday. It was Thursday because Friday I had to write all the notes that I didn't get to do Thursday because of my computer having issues. So yeah, I was having issues. And yeah, I'm just yeah, just wanting to kind of recap. I mean, I feel like I keep going back in time, recapping on the past like year or whatever. Like that year has come and gone. I moved on. I'm in 2022 now. 2022 is almost over, but yeah, I'm definitely working on, I'm definitely working out more. I'm learning more. I'm trying to learn more about supplements, the stuff that I usually prefer, and just different types of just like just natural types of things. Like melatonin for me, for sleep, for example, isn't really my vibe. I feel like melatonin isn't, I feel like it leaves me too groggy. I feel like CBD is more my thing. THC I feel like is good if I want to be in a certain mindset before I'm sleeping. Like if I want to do something, some kind of like, even if it's like some shadow work type of thing or just some reflective type of thing, THC is good for that, and an edible. And vaping, I mean, I'm slowing down on the vaping because I was getting a bit of a cough. I don't know if it's because of my sinuses, because of the cleaner from Thursday when I was cleaning in the house, because usually those cleaners do get my sinuses all out of whack for like almost a week or so, or like half a week. But yeah, I was yeah, I remember I was saying how I was focusing on like creative things as well. This is kind of more of a creative thing for me. It's just like figuring all these little things out, all the small little moving pieces. But it's kind of a lot. Like I've just been trying a lot of different stuff. And I like most of the stuff I've tried. Just mostly overall, I'm really just trying to slow things down. That's been the biggest thing that's worked the most for me, is just honestly just slowing it down, slowing it way down. Just really slowing down my kind of my lifestyle. Definitely thinking things through more. That's been more how I want to do things. Just making decisions more slowly, like, and trying to like not really pre-plan my whole day, but at least plan a little bit, have some kind of like a visualization process in the morning of like how I want my day to look. Just kind of intentionally, just kind of doing that. Like, it does kind of help. Because I do have a lot of days off now when I think of it. Like, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Or 3 full days where I'm not working at a full-time job. And it has really helped me slow things down. But, yeah, it's just, I feel like on here I record a lot of like what stresses me out. Like I do feel like there's a lot that I've been doing that's been working for sure. And I do keep in a notebook like a lot of the, as far as like workouts or tracking when I'm studying or doing any kind of side hustle related stuff. So I do have a pretty good tracking of all the stuff that I'm doing when I'm not just like lounging around, or when I'm not just working 8 hours straight. I kind of know what I'm up to for that reason, but I do try to like reflect on it. And so this is kind of how I start some of my weekend mornings. Like kind of Sunday mornings are kind of this way. Sunday mornings tend to be a really reflective morning for me. Saturdays are more of a recovery. Like, I do still take on the whole, like, Jewish Sabbath time period. I'm not saying that I'm necessarily doing, like, religious things or whatever. I just, I don't really live a religious lifestyle. I just kind of do whatever I want. And sometimes it comes from religious traditions, and other times it's just whatever the heck I woke up feeling like I wanted to do. Like, I'm not like too strict on anything about that. Like, I'm strict as in, yes, I will do something, but I'm not strict on like what that something actually is. I like having the variety in my life lately. That actually is helping me to just not be too, like, I can pull from anywhere within a certain category of things. But really on Saturdays and Friday nights, I try to practice less screen time. Now my friends know that I will text you pretty much day and night of almost any day of the week. So I'm not even saying that I don't do that or that I don't want people texting me or whatever. But I'm definitely an over texter for sure. Everybody, sorry, but I try not to be obnoxious, but I know that I am. And I do not expect anybody to read it or anything. Like, if you want to read it, it's there. If you're really that bored or interested, if you are stressed or overwhelmed or just don't care or don't want to, I'm not gonna expect you to do it. I'm not gonna get mad, nothing. Like, that's just, you live your life. I'm just sending you messages. But it is a bit of a distraction. I do kind of have, I do have a bit of trouble with focusing, for sure. I kind of always have. I mean, I do practice like forms of deep work. I definitely do that, but I have to be really intentional about it. Like, I notice, like, when I ease into my work day, if I start, a little early, like laying out what I'm going to do before I even start at 8 a.m., if I kind of just, or even if at 8 a.m. once I log in, like, if I start, like, laying out my tasks for the day in order, I can kind of, like, that's the way that I plan to do deep work, is I just kind of lay out the task for my day, and then I get into some deep work. Usually 4 hours, like 4-hour blocks with a break every hour. I know that's not maybe considered deep work. I'll have a longer break at the second hour, but a break every hour. Um, that just helps me break it up. And I need to stand more too, because like I mentioned, the back pain. So I do kind of try to do that more. Now I'm not laying out my whole day as I do my whole day in order, because I feel like every day is so different for me. Like I mentioned, like certain days a week I do certain stuff intentionally. I have like a bit of a pattern, but I don't think I even really explained that in an order that made any sense. I'm kind of bouncing around from topic to topic, day to day. But these are just the things that I kind of have been implementing that I maybe don't really talk about. I mean, it's easy for me to be like, this isn't going right, or that's not going right, or my energy's all over the place, or whatever. But I think it's also because I'm keeping track and focusing on what's going right and what's not, that I'm noticing kind of what's not working out ideally for me. And I'm noticing, I'm not really taking enough time, though, to notice what's going right for me. The things that are going right are definitely, the little things that I'm implementing. Just some bit of structure, even though there's a lot of flexibility within the structure. But, like I don't spend a lot of time I try not to spend a lot of time with the whole like what I used to do was like make a schedule and like put out this whole like make this whole calendar schedule, and like I would spend so long like trying to like plan like the play by play of the day that I wasn't doing a thing. It's like sometimes you can take all the energy and the planning and all that, so I try not to take too much energy doing that kind of stuff and just take the energy to do what I need. I like listening to powwow music. It might sound weird, but I think I've mentioned this before, how I get a lot out of like drumming. It does kind of put me in more of like a meditative headspace. So drumming is something that I really do enjoy listening to. And so I have been listening to, a lot of like powwow music, the live powwows on powwows.com. On YouTube, they usually have live streams during the weekends because they're live on weekends, and I usually enjoy it. I have all kinds of things that I'm interested in that I feel like are weird. I don't know what most people do in their mornings, but this is kind of the stuff I like to do. I don't really know. I feel like people wake up and like watch TV or watch the news or something. Like, I really try to ease into my day. I mean, I've been recording for almost like 2 hours now, but also because like it's so early, like but yeah, I clearly didn't have anything to do for the first like almost 2 hours of my morning. But I'm gonna snack on this rice ball and probably just probably listen to some of the powwow music. I might do that till about lunchtime and look at the mountains. I want to look at the mountains when people start snowboarding this morning. I want to see how the conditions are, to see what I'm missing out on, and see if anybody's posted any video footage at Mountain High, to see kind of what opening day looked like, which was yesterday. But I would have been there for opening weekend. I could still go up, but I'm like, I mean, now I have CBD in my system, so I can't really be driving. But I mean, I probably could, honestly, but I don't want to. Like, it's just that's not. I'm not gonna impulsively go to the mountains today. But yeah, I've been just trying to do things little by little. And as you can see, like, I'm all over the place a little bit, but I feel like I'm doing it. Like, I definitely am doing it. Like, I'm almost done with this class. I have a final project I have to do. I'm still studying like the portions I'm about to finish. When they're explaining how to do the project, I'll probably finish that today. Uh, the instructions and everything is pretty lengthy. The tutorial on how to do it, and then I'm gonna review that stuff. I'm gonna start reviewing how to do it, the steps that I need to take, and then I'm gonna work on that project this week. Hopefully by next weekend I can finish it. But today I'm gonna be reviewing all of it. I think tomorrow I'm gonna start doing the tasks. So I think I'm not gonna explain the whole project on here, but basically it's a marketing project. I think I can do it in a week. If I start tomorrow, just like testing out how long it's gonna take me and testing out the skills, and then the rest of the week, I'd probably take Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If it's something that I could do, see, I don't know if I'm gonna study all of those days. That's the problem. But I'll see tomorrow if I can do the first 5 tomorrow. That'll be the bare minimum. And then I'll see if during the week if I do any more. But I don't know. Like, I've been studying pretty hard on the weekends lately, and so it's making it really hard for me to study during the week, because I do still need to focus during the week too. And just having an 8-hour work week, or an 8-hour work day, even 4 days a week, I think I'll maybe push all the way till Friday. And then Friday I might be able to work on the project and put in some more details, and then my next Sunday submit everything, possibly. I mean, this is all self-timed, so I don't really know. And then I'm eventually going to have to start studying for the final exam, so I might do that the following week, and then take the exam the 3rd week from now. I mean, I don't really know if that's how it's going to look, but that would be nice, because once I'm finished, if I pass the exam, or when I pass the exam, I'll be able to start applying to jobs, and interviewing. But it is a little scary to put a schedule out there. Honestly, I am trying so hard to delay this, but the potential to finish this in 3 weeks sounds very appealing. The potential to have my life start changing in 3 weeks does not sound very appealing. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a 40-hour work week. It's going to be new work, but work that I would have already practiced. So it's going to be new work. And then I mean, I can make money off of it. It's actual work. It's going to be like freelance. Basically, it's a freelance project. So I do have the potential to make money. I don't know if I will, but I might have the potential to make money. So that would feel good if I could make some money doing that. That would be nice. But I don't really know. I don't really know, guys. It's just, I'm internally, when I start even thinking about it, I'm not ready yet. Like, I am not ready. When I think about it out loud, I'm like, it's too much of a push right now to think of it all this morning. So that's all the thought I'm going to put into that, because Like, when I start thinking about it, my mind is like, nope, nope, don't do it yet. But this is about to be 2 hours long, so I'm gonna stop this recording, get some snacks and hydration in, get on with my morning. But that's it for now. Thanks for listening.